think I can make out the word restaurant. It's not time to enter there yet. I need to use the clue left by my dad first. I can't reach it. It's the sign for a museum. I don't know what interesting stuff there is to see. It's not specified on the sign. I can't see the opening time either. Dark alley, ambiguous sign, no opening time for the public, and an old open door. I like it. I don't know how, but I hope it might come in handy. It's a car jack. I wouldn't say modern, that's for sure, but it does have its appeal. At first glance, it appears to weigh over 100 kilos. Surely working out in the gym made me stronger, but I don't think it performed any miracles. It seems like the propeller of an old vessel. There's also some writing. Flying Dutchman. I don't think it's that Flying Dutchman. I don't think it's useful like this. There's a sign with the word museum, which rules out the possibility that it's a library. I'll go back there later. Now I have to find a way to obtain the volume Properties of Concrete from the library. I can't see what's inside. I better get in. Let's try. It worked! Check out what we have here. Let's see what it is. It's another letter from my father. It's dated July 22nd, 2008, earlier than the other one. There's also a piece of paper that seems more ancient, but I can't figure out what it is. Better take a look right now. If Dad did all this so that I'd find it, there must be something important. Now I understand what the piece of paper was that I found with the letter. Dad always performed great feats, but I never imagined he was looking for kids' treasure. It has always been said that it was basically a legend. I don't remember the complete story exactly, but maybe the librarian can help me. And I have a list of names. Better start asking information of the townsfolk, without attracting too much attention. I don't need my father's old library card anymore. Even if someone found it, it would be useless. I have the letter and the piece of map belonging to my dad. It's a piece of the map belonging to Captain Kidd, but I can't do anything with it if I don't find all the other 8 pieces as well. Am I wrong, or did you tell me your name is Margaret Teach?
That's correct.
Do you know a man named Charles Teach?
Your question surprises me. How do you know my great-great-grandfather?
I'm doing some research on the genealogy of Bonetown, and I stumbled upon the Teach family.
Yes, it's been several generations now since the Teaches settled in Bonetown.
What can you tell me about Charles Teach in particular?
He was the one who brought the name Teach here to Bonetown. but of his past, little is known. My great-grandma told me that he was a former fisherman with a knack for books. This library is a donation he made to the city of Bonetown just before he died. After he arrived here in Bonetown, he devoted himself exclusively to reading, and many of these books were bought directly by him. He had so many of them that he basically founded the town library, which then became the family business for the following generations too.
And he didn't leave anything else apart from the books?
All he left is stored on the upper floor, but it's mostly junk. The real treasure was his books. There's also an old crate without a key, but it looks empty.
Do you by any chance know the story of Captain William Kidd?
Sure, it is mostly a legend. In the golden era of piracy, Kidd stood out for his endeavors, if you could call them that.
The endeavors of a pirate aren't exactly heroic most of the time.
Anyway, his ship, the Adventure Galley, was supposedly filled with treasures when it suddenly disappeared. A few years later, in 1701, Kidd was captured and executed, but his ship and the crew were never found.
What do you think happened?
What always happened at that time? Kidd and his crew squandered all the loot, and to cover their tracks, they sold or even burned the ship. After this story, Kidd became legendary.
Thank you. Thanks, and goodbye.
Thank you for visiting the Bonetown Library. If you need a specific book, you can ask me, Miss Teach, or just Margaret.
Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Very strange. I have the feeling I'm being watched. Better be careful. You never know what can happen in Bonetown. I think it's the restaurant manager. Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the One-Eyed Jack of the Bellamy family.
I glimpsed the menu outside the club. What's your specialty?
Chicken, kid. Delicious, free-range chicken.
Only chicken?
Absolutely, kid. Chicken is our main ingredient. Healthy, genuine, and it's not fattening, so you can eat as much as you want. We Bellamys have invented more than 100 recipes to serve it with.
A diverse menu, then. How's business going?
Money is not important to the Bellamys. Our forefather, Eddie Bellamy, left us a little nest egg to pursue our family mission.
And what would that be?
Find the chosen one.
Are you a great-grandson of Eddie Bellamy?
Absolutely, kid. My great-great-great-great-grandfather was the best cook of the 7 seas. He was the one who founded the first One-Eyed Jack, and since then we've come a long way.
Do you mean that you've expanded all over the world?
Absolutely not. Bonetown has always been the one and only place where you can taste one of our delicacies.
Do you mean that you've introduced new original recipes?
Oh, absolutely not. Nobody can improve Grandfather Eddie's recipes. A distant cousin tried to do that, starting his own company, the Mix something. But I haven't heard about it since, so I don't think he had our luck.
Surely not your luck, yeah. I don't get it, but it's okay anyway. What do you mean by chosen one?
The family legend says that Eddie Bellamy, progenitor of the Bellamys, learned every recipe on how to cook chicken, but his efforts in the kitchen seemed not to be appreciated by customers, who considered his recipes mere common chicken, bumpkins, so he created the only meal that was not chicken-based, the Bellamy cookie. The patrons seemed to be thrilled by the extraordinary innovation, But Eddie, given the indifference his cooking received before that, imposed one condition. Only the chosen one could taste the cookie from the Bellamy recipe. And since then, from generation to generation, the search has kept going.
Which cookie are we talking about?
The sacred cookie, contained in that glass case, built to keep its fragrance intact.
How long has it been in that case?
Since the day it was baked by Eddie Bellamy. And according to legend, it seems Eddie found a recipe for a pastry that could last for centuries without losing its fragrance.
Do you mean that in all these years, nobody was able to earn the right?
Absolutely not. That is the original cookie. Never has another one been baked.
How can you recognize the chosen one?
That'll be the only one who can pass the test.
What test?
The menu, kid. The menu. Only the worthy will listen to the entire menu without blinking an eye. And at that point, he'll have earned the cookie, along with honor and fame.
Very epic. Where does the test take place?
At the table. When you feel ready, take your seat, and we'll see if you might be the chosen one. But don't get your hopes up. We're extremely selective.
I've seen that all through Bonetown there are new gutters.
Yes. The mayor decided to invest the city's money that way. It's not a bad idea. By channeling the rainwater, the city will ensure some drinkable water.
The mayor?
Yes, Steve Bonnet. He's the man who's been taking care of the city for countless years. Luckily, he's in charge, or Bonetown would already be a ghost city.
Thanks, and goodbye.
Thanks to you, and enjoy your stay in Bonetown.
It's a glass case equipped with a lock. It seems there is a sort of fortune cookie inside it. I can't open this case without the right key. The lock seems to be tamper-proof. It's a very strong lock. I don't think it can be opened so easily. I need the key. It's a table.
I see you want to prove yourself. When you're ready, call me. I'll be right there.
It's my face. It's the restaurateur. I feel ready.
Very well, I'm coming. Let's begin the test. We'll soon know if you're the chosen one or just another common person. Our menu includes mushroom chicken, algae chicken, egg chicken, spicy chicken, sweet corn chicken, pepper chicken, olive chicken, chicken and vinegar, blah blah, chicken, blah blah blah, free range, blah 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 blah, herb crusted, blah blah blah. Kid, hey kid, the test is over. I'm sorry. I thought you were different from the others. For now, you're not the chosen one.
And yet I was sure I'd be the one. I don't think it would come in handy. Free. It looks like there was a race to the bottom for this volume. Prisons, the story of Tom Rayleigh. Maybe it wasn't the publishing success the author hoped. It's a book on Tom Rayleigh, prominent artist of Bonetown. There's something written. Free. Maybe it will come in handy.
Go ahead and take it. It will open both your heart and your mind. Some stickers to support Tom Rayleigh's cause are included as well. We also need your help to make this artist known.
Thanks. Prisons, the story of Tom Rayleigh. Now I know why this book is free. It seems more like a series of rambling stories instead of a serious biography. Maybe there's just one bit of plausible information. Here it says that Tom Rayleigh's past is dark. He was repeatedly put in prison in Bonetown for being drunk and disorderly. The stickers are nice, but the book is useless to me. I'd rather put this book back in its place. Probably someone else will find it more interesting. They're stickers bearing the words Tom Rayleigh. The museum curator wants to do something to clear Rayleigh's name. According to the book's author, Rayleigh was repeatedly incarcerated in Bonetown for drunk and disorderly conduct. I already have a memory that may never be erased from my mind. I don't think I'll need that too. I'd say it's scary.
It's my handiwork. It seemed to me that the subject respected all the classical canons.
Maybe they're not the same canons I studied at school.
It's one of the few pieces left by Tom Rayleigh. Ancient sources said that he was a prodigy in cartography drawing, but everything has been lost.
I understand. It's part of the museum exhibition. Better leave it where it is. There's something written on it. For the heirs of Tom Rayleigh.
What do you think you're doing? Have you seen what is written on the envelope? It's the property of Tom Rayleigh's heirs.
But I'm one of his great-grandsons.
I'm a researcher, as well as a capable artist. Bring me concrete proof and you can have the envelope. Until then, the envelope will remain museum property.
Based on his posture, I think he lives here. I guess he's a sort of janitor or curator of the museum. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I do something for you? I am very busy and I'd hate to lose time.
Are you the museum janitor?
No. I'm the curator, as well as the only artist in Bonetown.
Remarkable. Busy doing what?
I don't think you'd understand. You don't look like you have an open mind like us artists.
Please, I'm very curious.
No.
Come on, share it with me.
No.
Okay, I don't think it was that important anyway.
Not important. Are you kidding me? My research is, of vital importance for Bonetown and its history.
Research for peace of mind?
Funny.
Finding himself?
No.
What kind of research?
I'm trying to clear the name of one of the most controversial figures of Bonetown.
Who are we talking about?
Tom Rayleigh. He spent almost his whole life in here.
Was he a researcher too?
No. This was a prison once. They say that Rayleigh, because of his alcohol problems, spent most of his sober time in here.
In every town there's a drunkard.
No. Tom wasn't a drunkard. His artistic life was very troubled. My research proved that.
Have you already done other research on Rayleigh?
Yes. You can find everything about it in the book I wrote on Rayleigh. You can take a copy if you like.
Already done. Very illuminating.
Really? What passage impressed you most?
Practically everything about Tom?
You're already calling Tom. I transmitted empathy, so I've done a good job with the book.
Just what I meant. How come you're so obsessed with Tom Rayleigh?
It's not that I'm obsessed. Tom Rayleigh was an artist, just like me. Some of the objects in here are his works. But, as with all misunderstood geniuses, he had a devil inside. Some people claim that, in the midst of a drunken stupor, he could produce his best works. But once he was sober, he destroyed those works because he deemed them not to have been done by him. And I, being a misunderstood genius myself, now want to clear his image.
If you say so. And how do you think you can do that?
I'm trying to recover all the works left by the Master. And in the meantime, I'm tracing Rayleigh's great-grandsons by delivering the only thing he left here in Bone Town.
A toothbrush?
Don't joke about that. We artists are not interested in personal care.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm talking about that envelope.
What are the contents of the envelope?
I don't know. It's an official document classified by the police and kept here in the museum. It says for Rayleigh's heirs. I can't open it. It would go against my artist code of ethics.
And probably against some laws as well.
Yes. I'm looking for Rayleigh's heirs to deliver it. So I might know what happened to Rayleigh once he left Bone Town, too.
Goodbye.
Yes. Goodbye.
Better not. It's a unique piece. If I ruin it, I risk wasting all the trouble my father went through to protect it. I think this is the town hall, and this is the entrance door. The upper floor seems to be condemned. The stairs don't seem safe. I don't want to risk hurting myself. There's a lot of disorder up there. I don't think that ransacking this paperwork will help me in any way. These are stamps of Bone Town. What a weird globe. It's covered in notes. I think he's Steve Bonnet. He has aged fast. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. I'm sorry, do we know each other?
It's been a while, hasn't it, Uncle Steve?
Uncle Steve? There's only one child that called me that. It can't be. Willy. Is that really you?
Yes, Steve, it's really me, Willy Morgan.
Son, how are you? Sorry if I don't get up, but my back is killing me. Sitting here all day is bad for my health.
All good, Steve. Thank you.
Tell me, what brought you back to Bone Town? It's been years since the last time I saw you.
I've been missing Bone Town.
I can hardly believe it. Lately, nobody ever comes back to Bone Town.
For the anniversary of my dad's disappearance, it's been 10 years. I was thinking of swinging by the cemetery.
Already 10 years? Time seems to have stopped in Bone Town since then. I sought refuge in my job to forget. I don't see your mother. Does she know you're here?
I told her I was leaving. She's away on a business trip.
How is she? I tried many times to contact you in recent years, but she never answered.
It was very tough for her, too. She preferred to make a clean break from the past, concentrating on me and her job. Bone Town is a memory that still hurts a lot.
I understand.
How are things going here in Bone Town?
Not very well, I'd say. It's becoming harder and harder to run Bone Town. People leave, and the problems are constantly increasing.
I saw some construction work on the buildings.
That's one of the bigger problems in the city. It seems that our water resources are drying up. Some people say that upriver, certain companies have been doing excavations that caused the fracturing of some faults. But I launched an investigation. There's no correlation. So I'm trying to solve the problem by recovering rainwater. And at the moment, it seems to be working.
I hope so, for Bonetown. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Willy, and welcome back to Bonetown. I can't show you around, but for anything else, feel free to ask.
Thanks. How are things going here in Bonetown?
The bigger problem seems to be our water at the moment. Our water resources are drying up. I'm investing my remaining finances and the last of the city's funds to get it back to its former state.
You really care a lot about Bonetown.
I was born and raised here. I don't want it to stay like this.
Do you remember what happened to my father?
It's always painful for me to talk about Henry. We grew up almost like brothers, before he decided to leave and become one of the most famous archaeologists in the world. But despite his work, he always found the time to come back here to the family and to meet his old friends. Unfortunately, his disappearance is still shrouded in mystery. The night before that fateful day, we went out together. We said goodbye in front of the old inn where he was staying. The next morning, I stopped by to say hello. There was no trace of him. His room was intact. The innkeeper said he didn't see him going out. That's all I know. Since then, I've been racking my brain to understand what happened, but Henry seems to have vanished into thin air.
Just like Mom always tells me. Do you, by any chance, know what Dad was working on?
I wouldn't know. Whenever he'd come to Bonetown, he told us fantastic stories of the places he explored. We felt like we were there with him.
Dad was always an exceptional narrator. When he told me a story before bed, I couldn't sleep right away, but instead spent a good part of the night fantasizing.
He used to do the same thing with us here in Bonetown. Everyone was enthralled by him.
See you later.
Come back whenever you want. You'll always find me here.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, I'd prefer you not touch it. There's some important notes and I don't want to lose them.
Sure. Better ask for permission. I'd risk looking like a thief. Can I borrow a stamp?
Of course, as long as you use it responsibly. Even if they're dated back, they're the official stamps of Bonetown.
Thanks. I'll use them well.
Actually, when you're finished with your stuff, you can help me out with that stamp. I have a lot of paperwork to authenticate.
Gladly. See you later.
Come back whenever you want. You'll always find me here.
Thanks. I might need one. I'll take the more worn one. It's an official stamp of Bonetown. Drugstore of Dr. Fred Every. Better leave it where it is. It contains a lot of jelly beans. It only works with 5-cent coins. There are even some love potions and other remedies not known to science. It's full of every kind of bottle and vial. I don't even know if some are legal or not. Should I smash the window and take the contents? I don't see a reason yet. It's the drugstore door. If I'm not mistaken, it's Mendeleev's periodic table. Better not. I think the owner would be very upset. They seem delicious. I'd like to take some,